Hello my friends. Here's a pavilion that I built. I built 3 of these in about a month's time. And this pavilion and the next door neighbors, the one that I built, withstood 2 hurricanes this past summer. Hurricane Milton was the strong one. That one hit, the eye of the hurricane hit right here. And it took some of the neighbors' roofs off. These pavilions were unscathed. The build was very efficient, very cost effective. All the material, I built this with standard dimension lumber. So there was minimal waste. The pavilion without the deck cost about $1,200, but the pavilion was less than what that decking cost me. Let me show you some of the features of this pavilion. Okay, I ran power to it, and the power is buried. I have switches here for lighting and for an overhead fan. The fan I picked up at Habitat, $15, and that's been up for a year now. TV, I put a mount that I can raise it up and it would be out of any of the weather. I put a stereo in. You see there's a speaker in that corner, speaker in that far corner. Okay, notice that they're different. That's because I bought the speakers at the Goodwill. And I think these are Sony over here. They were like $6. And there's a stereo that I bought on the internet. That was $13. $6 for a flexible antenna that attached to it, and that's driving those speakers. The control for it, I put a metal plate here, and I attached a couple magnets, so that's out of the way. Okay, the build structure, I started with the king post. Well, I didn't start with it. It's the first thing I cut. These king posts, there's 2 of them. Okay, they're 2 foot long. The height isn't 2 foot. The 4x6 is a 2 foot length. And you could see the lower section here, right in here. It's notched for this 2x10, and then it's bolted. The top of that king post is also notched for a 2x8, which I used as the ridge pole, and that is run in with lag screws. So they're pretty secure. The posts, I like the dimension. These are 6x6 posts, and I over-rounded. After it was all together, I took a small portable router, over-rounded all the corners. It just leaves a real nice effect to it. The post, I pre-cut these notches before I set them. A 6x6, when they sell those, they're 12 foot long, so there is minimal cut off the bottom. I buried these in the ground in a concrete tube, a 12-inch tube, and they are over 3 foot deep into the ground, setting into the concrete. I did put outdoor electrical outlets. There's an outlet right in the corner. Those 2 plugs in there. Those 2 plugs are plugged to these LED lighting. The LEDs were super bright, so you could see here I have them angled to the roof, which worked out great because I get all this indirect lighting reflecting off of the metal roofing. The metal roofing is standard. It's 8-foot length, 3-foot width. Lowe's carries all these items standard lumber. Back to these posts, when I put them in, you see the one side is notched, the other side is just bolted. Right there is bolted, and the notched side has lag screws holding on. Each of the rafters are 8 foot long. I cut the ends so that they're tapered. Instead of being square, they're tapered vertical. Anytime you buy standard lumber, don't count on it being the length, like 8 foot, 10 foot, 12 foot. They will always be about an inch or so over. So you want to, anytime you're using that as a standard or a measurement, you want to trim it to the exact lengths. These posts are set. The footprint of the building is 12 feet by 16 feet. The posts are set at 12 feet by 10 feet. The narrow one where the hammock are, 10 foot is perfect for hanging a hammock. And I use them all the time. There's 2 here in case I have some company coming over to lounge. Okay, you can see the roof rafters. They're set at, they look like they're 4 foot spacing. And I put cross ties, and the cross ties are butted right up against the ridge pole. Putting the cross ties would make it conform to code. You don't need 2, but 2 I used every time I do this. The center one, it gets helps support the fan or whatever lighting might be going up there. That'll hold it rather than have it connected to one ridge or cross tie. These roof purlins should be spaced roughly 2 foot, but they're also 12 foot in length, so that's a standard length there. They're all screwed together, no nails, and I do have on these joints, you can see from the outside, there is hurricane strapping. Okay, the corners I have 4x4. They're 8 foot lengths cut in half and a little bit shorter. They look like they're about 3 foot in length. I counterbored the holes, then ran lag screws into those. The outside of these are lag screwed from the outside in. I put outlets at 4 feet off the ground. I had them ground faulted, but I had to disconnect the ground fault because the ground fault kept tripping. I used my smoker a lot, and the motor on the smoker will trip at some point, the ground fault. So I couldn't use a ground fault on the smoker. Not reliable. The smoker, you know, I can already run it overnight, and I don't want it shutting off when I'm running it. This is the first pavilion that I put up, and one of the lessons I learned was stain all the roof rafters before you put the building together. Not doing that, you're going to continue bumping the roofing, the sheet metal, and it just looks ugly. So you can see here I didn't coat the edges of the 2x4s just for that reason. So the other pavilions that I put up, those items were all pre-coated, and it makes it easier. You're not on a ladder standing there coating. You can do it on sawhorses before they go up. And the other one that I put up was cantilevered over an embankment, so it was pretty high up on the one end, and that would have made it really hard to coat those. So the coating was done prior to the assemble of the building. The assembling, I put the entire building up without help. I did have a neighbor help me on one post, and to ask for help cost an extra couple hours of work because I had to explain every step to the neighbor when we were putting it up. So I can work a lot faster by myself. And these were green and very heavy, but I managed to get the holes dug and get them into those supports or concrete tubes in the ground. When I put these up, I cut the notches at the top, then I measured 10 or 8 foot down the post and marked each post at 8 foot where it should be level. Then I took a one of the planks, either a 12 foot or the 10 foot. I screwed them temporarily at the marks, and I leveled the post to those marks that I marked down. So it's pretty hard. There's a company coming. It's pretty hard to put a post in and then cut the top and set the notches. I think they're waiting for some food. The building I think I could put up in a weekend, if not counting the decking, but I'm sure just a weekend I could have the building put up by myself. So not too hard of a task, minimal waste. All the over-rounding can be done after, you see right here, after the building is assembled. And it's good to have that done because you won't be getting slivers off the corners of this pressure treated wood. Thanks for watching, my friends. Bye-bye.